Hey everyone, welcome back to our second video series on digital tools, and our focus is still on the Mentimeter interactive presentation tool. In our last video presentation, we started looking at the overview of the Mentimeter presentation platform. We also looked at types of questions that we can utilize in Mentimeter presentation. We also utilize the present platform that allowed us to see how our presenter and audience were able to be interacting with this platform. In this video presentation, we are proceeding to the second type section, which is the quiz competition. And in this, we have two major types of quiz competition questions. So these are where we would select an answer. It can be in the form of a multiple choice or a checkbox. And the second one is where the audience would be required to type an answer. All right, so we are gonna be looking at how it is that each of these can be utilized within our site. So I'm gonna proceed to add a new slide and then scroll to the quiz competition area where I am selecting the one that says select answer. All right, once that has been completed, of course, we are redirected to the content area, and in this we are given the option to enter a question and also to provide our responses. For the extras, this is a little bit different than what we're used to. For the extras, in the term of it being a quiz set of questions, then it would require that we are gonna be using a timer. So for the extras, it indicates how long that we want to show a particular question for. It can be 15 seconds going up, etc. All right, the option highlighted, faster correct answer get more points. That's gonna stay in the sense where the person who made the fastest submission, that is also how they would get additional points for those. We can also include music, but currently it's only 3 default music that is provided in this, so I'm gonna bypass that part for now. They also have the leadership board, and what this does is to include another slide after the submissions have been made. Well, it's already there, and this would show the number of persons that made submission and then the points that they received for those questions. All right, so 2 things that I'll be doing for this, well, 3 is to include the questions. So the popular question that we have been using so far, I'm choosing that, and then the answers or the options being in this area. So I'm gonna place the checkbox, tick the checkbox with the correct answer for that. Also, I could go ahead and add the regular side image, and I believe I'm gonna be minimizing this now just for us to get a little bit ahead, just to show you how the different things work. Following this, I'm gonna upgrade the time from 15 seconds to 30 seconds, and of course it is up to you. You can put it to 60 seconds, etc. It is up to you, the presenter. So 30 seconds to respond to that question, and that would wrap up. Again, I'm gonna proceed to the present area, and it is saying that we're waiting for players. Well, normally it would show up to say on the person's device for them to enter their name, and then from there they would be able to access the question once the countdown begins. So in order to allow the countdown to begin, we're gonna go ahead and press enter on this device, or the presenter's device rather. All right, so all of your audience would now be able to see this particular slide, and they're seeing the countdown time there as well. So once they made their submission and everybody's submission completed, then we will see the responses appearing on screen. So currently we had 2 participants and both of those persons got the answer correct. So we proceed to the leadership board, and this is the leadership board showing the results. So the results are there and it shows us the points that were awarded. Also, once we proceed to this side, on the device that devices of your audience, they will see what position they came in. So if it was the winner, they tell them who was the winner and what was their points in the total. So this is also a very nice way to interact with your audience. All right. So that was the leadership board along with the question for that. And of course, there are some persons who would just utilize presentation for the sole purpose of quizzes. That is pretty much okay. So you have your audience interacting with the questions, and then following that they see the leadership board, who came first, second, etc., and what is their points standing. So that is a cool way for your quiz in your little sessions. All right, so I am returning. Before I return, I'm gonna have to add another slide and then return to the quiz competition area. So for this, we just saw how the select answer works. So we're now looking at the type answer. All right, so for this, I'm not sure who the type of persons who would prefer this, but this one might be a little bit tricky, maybe in the sense where you have 1-word responses or 2-word responses. Then this could be a good type of question format. All right, so for this, I'm selecting another question asking for the fastest male runner from Jamaica. What's their last name? And last time I checked, it was Old, so that's the correct answer. And in this, I could also proceed to add other answers. A quick thing to note could be that a question of this nature, you could give in the question, at the end of the question, ask them to submit answers only in uppercase or lowercase. And that could also limit some stuff there. All right, so for mine, I'm having additional answers. So it could be that they submitted in all caps, or it could be that they submitted in all lowercase. All right, so if they have it in any of these 3 contexts, then their answer would be seen. All right, so again, it is good to indicate a rule within the question. All right, so the next thing is again your extras. So you could have decided how long they need to take in order to answer this particular question. We can choose music again, and of course our leadership board. So we're gonna leave all of those intact. So now we're presenting to the audience, and they should be able to see this appearing on their screen based on the selection that was made. So again, as the presenter, you want to make sure you follow the rules. So it says enter to start countdown. So I go ahead and I click enter for the countdown to start. All right, so countdown is now taking place, and we're awaiting the responses to come. All right, so let's say everyone made their submission. So we see where the quiz has ended and the answers show up, as well as the correct answer being displayed. So the answer in the box to the left here indicates how many persons made this as their choice. So 2 persons said bold for their answer, and when we check here, that is in fact correct. So if we proceed now to the leadership board, on the person's devices, they should be seeing what is their points, and if they get the answer correct or not, and also their position in terms of how they answered the question, who came first, who came second, etc. Right, so that's technically it for our quiz competition area. And again, it is up to you, the presenter, to decide how it is that you want to utilize this. So as you can see, there is no limitation on the quiz competition section, so you can include as many questions as you would like. Alright, I am skipping the content for now just to give an overview. Again, remember we are using a free account. So for the final section that says advanced question, this is linked to the popular question type. So that is why you're seeing those grayscale, meaning that we could have used one from this section and one from the popular, the top section here. Alright, so because we use up all of those questions, then automatically at this last part we cannot utilize anymore. Alright, so seeing that we cleared that up, we are now returning to the content slide area. So we have 8 items, I believe, in the content slide area, and the names are attached to each of those. So we start off with a heading, then a paragraph, bullets, image, video, big context, quote, number. Well, that's it. All right, so again, up to the presenter for whatever purpose it is that you want to use content from this area, you can go ahead and do just that. Alright, so let's say I decided to use the heading option. I click on that and it takes me to content area, so it shows me where I should include my heading. So let's say I wanted to use digital citizenship as my heading, and then the subheading could be what is cyberbullying. Right, so this gives us an overview of what our presentation is expected to be about. Again, image is there just to add a little side effect to our presentation. All right, so I'm including that, and while that loads, the next section, we're now seeing a very new section called reactions. Now the reaction is, or it allows rather, your audience to click on any of these little icons that you have included on your slide, and they would be able to see the number of other persons who have also shared interaction in terms of this particular slide. So let's say it was some background information that we were giving on cyberbullying, and they would have seen that slide and they love the slide, or they're in agreement with it. Then they could go ahead and use one of these reactions to show how they interacted with this slide. So I could keep the heart, the thumbs up, and the thumbs down. So those 3 have been added, and your audience can decide which of these they want to interact with. Alright, so having said and done that, let's see how this looks on our presentation slide. So this slide is telling us about digital citizenship, what is cyberbullying. Some information could have been there, yes. Alright, so on the device of your audience now, let's say one of your participants decided to select the heart, then looking on my screen to the bottom right, we would see that the heart has been activated and one person selected the heart. If I proceeded on another device to click the heart, then it shows that 2 persons selected heart. If I click the thumbs up, then it shows, and it shows a number that click on thumbs up. If I click on thumbs down, then it also shows what's there. And if you realize, the number on the heart was removed, meaning that each person is expected to only make one selection, so they cannot make more than one. Only one of these they are allowed to are permitted to click on within a particular standing of a slide. So if you see just now, it's like a little game happening here. If I click on the heart on a particular device and then I go ahead and click on the thumbs down, then what it does is to remove the selection that was previously made to the last one selected. So that's also a very cool thing. All right, So I can go ahead and reset the results because I currently don't need that for this. Another one, we have paragraph. So this, you could have your information being laid out. So what is it about cyberbullying that you want to show on this slide? You can go ahead and do so. And again, the reactions are also a part of that. Bullets, we have an option there that has bullets. So if you're listing some things, then you can outline that. So if I click on the bullets, we have the heading digital citizenship and then the bullets area. So I can go ahead and add what is it that I want to note about digital citizenship. Well, we can say we know about cyberbullying, right? Another bullet could be netiquette, if that's spelled correctly. And then a third thing we could note is security, and the list could go on. So that is up to the presenter. And as you are able to see, we can select, is it that we want to keep a symbolic bulletin, or do we want to change it to a numbered list? Again, that is up to us. We can show all bullets at once, or we can show one at a time when it is being presented. So if I deselect this, right, I don't want to show all of them at once, and when I'm presenting, or I can keep hitting enter or activate the slide, and each time I click, then it allows for another bulletin list to show up. So again, this is also another way that we can interact with our slide in terms of the content that we provide. All right, so that was heading, paragraph, bullets. We also have one where we can include image. So outside of, all right, so automatically they just shift over image. So this could be an image showing cybersecurity. We could have it whether in the center, or we could store it as a background meaning that it is expanded. All right, and that's the major difference for the image. Another one we have, which is also new, is the video. So we can include a video, right? We could hyperlink video. Currently I don't have a hyperlink at hand, but what this does is to allow for a video to be played on the device of your audience, and then from there they would be able to view that video. Right, so that's that. Next one, we have an option called big. So this can be big text, whatever purpose it is that you want to outline a particular text, then you can implement that. So that's how it shows up on the slide. Quote, we can have a nice little quote appearing. What's the quote that we could have, and then who it is written by. So let's say digital citizenship is awesome, right? And then who said that? K. Myers. Of course, that would show up as a quote on the slide. Last one is number. Again, similar to the big text, we can have our number appearing as, remove the what from there. So we could ask, what is the purpose of this? So maybe 3.125. Oh, so they only use whole numbers. It cannot use decimal placement. So 3125. All right. Those persons who normally utilize numbers, they Alright, so we have covered the major aspect of the interactivity of our slide, which is the type content. We didn't really utilize the customize because that was not really a necessity for us. We could attempt to see, I guess for this we could look at the layout. So the layout, I clicked on that as being one of the layout. I tried the next option. Right, so it's up to the user how it is that they want their information to be laid out. So that's a part of the customize. Two last things that we're going to be looking at is theme and then the share option. So themes, we are restricted again because we're using a free account. The theme would work just as how we would have our decorated slides on our regular PowerPoint, but these are very minimal for the free account. What they do is to just give some random colors and then apply it to the slide. So if I click on dark as one of the free option, and then when I return to my slide, I am seeing my slide showing up as dark pages instead of white. So again, that is up to the user. We could also make another attempt. So let's say this time I'm trying the color joy. So the color joy, and then that's applied to the slide. So that's that there. It's a bit dull. So again, it's up to the presenter which of these they want to utilize, if at all. All right. We have advanced layout, so that is based on the beta thing, so we can align and we can also utilize the previously identified label, and some of these are also grayscale, meaning that we cannot really attain them using the free account. And then the final thing that we're looking at is once you have completed this presentation, so let's say your audience did not get access to this presentation as yet and you're now ready to share this with them, then you would go ahead to your share tab, and your share tab has 3 sections, so you can invite collaborators. Again, that is restricted to paying accounts. So the only tool that we have access to at the moment is the presentation sharing and participation. All right, so in terms of the participation, it says who can join and vote on this presentation. Then you could copy the code right for that, or you could copy the link. So there are links to be provided for that, and it is encouraged, especially with the free account, to utilize the link, because as this says, temporary voting code, meaning that for the voting in the quizzes and so forth, it expires within 2 days. So if you created this slide today and you're ready to be use it maybe 3 days from now, then you won't be able to utilize this code because it would have been expired. All right, presentation sharing, who can access this presentation and the results? Then you can go ahead and share this link with your audience, right? So we have our participation based on the slide that have those, and we have the presentation sharing. Another way that we could also capture the link is based on the slide. So you could copy the link from the slide, and then this would provide your user with access to the slides. All right, so that technically wraps up Mentimeter interactive presentation. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in, and again, please remember to subscribe, share, like, just to get the word and get others into the loop with digital tools, getting started with it, getting acquainted, and just learning. Thank you so very much for tuning in, and I'll see you for the next set of digital tools that we will be sharing with you.